Okay, so let's picture the scenario. You are currently standing in front of your base you tried to establish as your main base. You looked at those photos on the internet and wanted to make a cozy little cottage when you suddenly realized that it became just another shoebox of yours like the base before and the base before. So, if that's the case, then welcome to this video, because today I'm going to show you how to fix your bases, goddammit. I've been playing No Man's Sky since the Beyond update, so that is quite a long time. And I am not an expert at building, to be honest, but I definitely know the most things to avoid my bases from looking something like this. Instead, trying to make them look more diverse and more cozy of some sorts. And today I'm going to try and show you how you can avoid those bases as well, and try to give you some tips on what you should think of in your next base. Let's just cut to the chase right away. The first thing you always gotta do with no way around it, is choosing where you actually want to build your base. Location matters a lot in No Man's Sky, and I have learned this the hard way. So I guess I'll just tell you what you need to know. We all probably know that lush planets and paradise planets are definitely the best planets to build bases on. I mean, if they do not have any aggressive fauna, or constant storms, or sentinels, or anything like that, they are perfect. You can check this out in the Discoveries tab, or do a quick scan from space or your freighter. Then there's also normal hazard worlds, probably the most common ones in the No Man's Sky universe. I find tundras aesthetically pleasing, but you don't have to go after aesthetics and just build wherever you want to. Exotic worlds are also very good for building, depending on what fauna they have and how vast they are. And if you really want to go diverse, you can also build your base on a dead planet. Although I only recommend this if you're accepting the fact that life support drains very quickly on these planets if you do not have any upgrades. But the big perk about dead planets is the fact that you can essentially fly around on the planet with your jetpack refilling in the air very quickly, so that is pretty cool. So these are my personal favorite building sites for me. Well, what I do not recommend are extreme planets, especially on permadeath without any upgrades, as you'll be toast in like 20 seconds or less. These are not very fun to be on without any upgrades, so unless you want to go for those sweet storm crystals or activated resources, then do not go on these. And please, do not go and make your main base on extreme sentinel planets. I even get why you'd make a base on these at all. You'll be fine. You do not need those aggressive sentinels on your tail all the time, so unless you have disabled them because you find the planet so beautiful, do not, please. And before you start building, please gather a good amount of resources so it won't be tedious wasting a lot of time on resource gathering microtrips. It ruins a lot of the fun, trust me, so no matter how big you want your base to be, please gather an abundance of resources before you start building. Survey your planet of choice as well. Even if you can't view the most crucial details even before you land, better scan the animals you can find and check out the weather conditions. If the weather conditions are yellow on the analysis visor, you have most likely landed on what is a paradise planet that isn't actually that much of a paradise and most certainly has extreme storms. You don't want to end up on one of those planets where you think it is a paradise planet, which suddenly has extreme storms and everything suddenly wants to eat you, so be wary of that. Now that we have determined the most important things all about location, we can now move on to the actual base. Again, I'm not going to be able to teach you how to become a glitch building god, but I'm going to try and teach you the most essential things and, like I said, on how to make your base better somehow. Let's just dive right in. Exterior designs, aka what type of base you want to build, how difficult it is, and how useful they are. Basically, inspo for what you want to be so you don't end up with the same tiny house or shoebox every time. I'll try and give you a few examples on what your next base could be, segregating it into various types so you can divide them better. First of all, we have bases that are there for pure functionality. I call them outposts because that's what they are. They fit excellently on resource-rich planets and usually include a small shelter for me. Maybe a landing bay if I have the resources. But since outposts are about functionality, like I said, it doesn't really matter that much, and all I need for the base to be functional is a base teleporter and obviously a power source. Oh, the power source. New chapter. Preferably the good old battery and solar panel combo, which if you don't know, basically consists out of a loop of solar panels storing power in batteries, which continue distributing the power overnight when the solar panels don't work. But keep in mind that the more tech, the more batteries and solar panels you'll need. Can also go with these things, electromagnetic power reactors, although they need a hotspot to work and can take a while for you to find a hotspot in a somewhat nice location. So I prefer the solar panel battery combo. You can also discreetly hide them if you wanna. But for outposts you don't visit too often, a good old biofuel reactor is fine as well. 1 shot in difficulty, 5 shots in convenience, but only 1 shot in looks. Very beginner friendly. Next up we have these things. I generalize them by simply calling them houses. And I personally use real-life inspiration by going on the World Wide Web and trying to turn a real-life house into a somewhat nice No Man's Sky equivalent. But real-life inspo really helps me personally. And even if you end up with a complete shoebox again, don't worry, it'll be alright. Add windows, balconies, Skyrim Hearth Firehouse perhaps. And do not use these roofs for large surfaces. It's ruining the entire build in most cases. Anyhow, I'd say 2 shots in difficulty as you build more and more of these, 4 shots in convenience in between. You know what? This is getting too long. I think we should move on a little. So, you see that a lot of these modules or building modifications do actually matter. And they can make your base glow up a lot. And I mean it. Balconies, even those sloped roof reading corner things, I use them for that, I don't know. They help a lot, as you can tell. There's obviously many more base types. You can also go with bunkers, cave bases, or so much more. One more thing, do not force yourself to cram up your base in one session. A good main base takes time to develop, and so do your skills. It'll keep improving as you work on it over time. But even if you find your building style still awful, you can make up for that with interior design. Yes, that's right. Interior design is also very important in No Man's Sky. And sadly, I've seen a lot of bases looking like this from the inside. Also not very beautiful, it's not much, it's just the most important things you need and that's it. And it's totally understandable that unless it's an outpost, you do want your base to look a little more fancy and more cozy and more comfortable, especially if you are in your base a lot or just like to hang out a little bit. And now I'm going to try to show you how you can actually do that, with again some more tips and tricks how you can actually fix that up and make your interior go from this to something like this. And I'd say that it is definitely a step up. Anyways, the first thing we gotta do, in case you haven't done that yet, is to collect a lot of salvage data. A lot. It's a grind, but I recommend around 50 to 75 at the moment if you never bought anything with salvage data before, but can obviously go for more. You'll also unlock some items via quests, but you need to buy most of the decor. Luckily, apart from the initial purchase price of $60 for the game itself, the rest is free, so you can buy everything you need with some grinding instead of paying for some sort of in-game currency. And you better not pirate that, as Hello Games is still an indie company, not demanding another cent from you apart from the purchase price. And considering how they keep this game up and running, that definitely isn't a lot. You could then buy yourself your desired decor or maybe exterior modules, as there's still a wide variety of building parts you can buy additionally. So let's move on with our base, shall we? Look at this, a filthy empty corner. Say no to empty corners. While it's not supposed to be stacked with plants like a beginner Sims 4 house, cuff cuff, 10-year-old me, you should definitely bring some life into corners like these. Adorn them with posters, shelves, a limited amount of plants, maybe some clutter depending on how you want your base to look. Maybe you want to go for that lift-in aesthetic, maybe you want another modern house. I don't care, it's your base, do whatever you want with it. But these are just a few suggestions on what you could do. Oh, let's not forget warm lighting. It looks much more inviting than the darkness or just the cold and white lighting. Your achievements. reflecting how many hours you put into this game. Maybe a cozy bedroom, bedside tables, standing lamps, a closet. Really lean into that loft aesthetic if you fancy. I personally find it the best thing, or the best aesthetic if you want to call it that. A balcony to contemplate life. A fishing rig perhaps. Or maybe a conference table. Your base people? Don't lock them in cells. Give them their own designated areas. An NMS lab for your geek. A medbay or lab for your scientist. Really lean into it. Makes your base look much more lively. They won't just be like roommates, they might become like actual friends to you, but they're still just NPCs, so don't lean into that. But personally, this really helped me with my base and made it look much better than it did before. Now, let's take this winter house. Except for a bed, there's nothing in it. You should add a kitchen, add a fridge, be creative. This thing has a microwave. Same with your Corvette. Experiment with R&F for resizing like I did with this delicious college dish that's actually just weird goo right here. Repurpose items. Same with this. Weird corner under the stairs. PC setup. Again, resizing is key. Turn this box into a keyboard. This thing into a mouse. This monitor into a PC monitor. R&F. R&F. Use R&F. And free placement for those tiny clutter items. V. Reverse this by pressing V again for other parts. Your front yard needs to be lived in. Fire barrels. Wait. Never mind, your houses can't burn down in this game, just go on with the fire barrels. And from the looks of this, we can now conclude that this game does have a lot of decor, but not much of it is sadly functional. For example, there are Corvette modules in the modules section, the sleeping pod, and the med bay, but they do not have any function. But whatever, I'm grateful with what we have, to be honest. And you know what I'm grateful about too? You guys. You have brought so much to me with my first video, and I honestly didn't really expect it. And I'm so grateful for that, you can't imagine. I didn't expect it at all. Again, thank you so much. Although there's one thing I still have to tell you, which is the fact that I am a high school student, aka an upperclassman, and my semester finals are starting next week. Which means that I don't know when the next video is coming out, so I'm planning to push out a long-form video every 2 to 3 months, maybe less if I have time. I'll post a schedule or maybe a rough schedule later on in a pinned comment if that's alright. And with that, I would like to conclude the video. Here are some tips on how you can improve your No Man's Sky bases, and I hope I could help in some kind, although it wasn't a tutorial. So, yeah. I'll see you guys in the next video. Fishmaster out.